I have replaced Prinplup. It is now a Clefairy, which means I don't lose super hard to Rotom. Still a threat, but I have a Volt immunity, I have a Clefairy. Like, what can you do? Looking at his team, Altaria definitely puts a lot of pressure on it. This is the kind of team that I think offensive Altaria is pretty cool for. Not that defensive wouldn't be. Defensive would also beat Leafeon and Monferno, and but it would have a bit of a harder time with Gabite and maybe Grumpig to an extent, and it wouldn't be able to drop Dracos and just get a kill every time it does, because he doesn't really have a Draco switch in. On the downside, he has T-Spikes. That is going to chip away at Float and Raichu, but nah, it could be worse, really. Like, this matchup's not terrible, and frankly, Frogadire's a piece of shit. Don't run it. It's just not good. Like, it's just bad. His team doesn't even need T-Spikes. I don't know why he's running it. T-Spikes suck in the meta. Muck is running around. Just run a better water type. Just have to get that out of the way, because frankly, most YouTubers who upload PU recommend piece of shit mons. Use piece of shit mons. That definitely hurts PU, which is their prerogative. I don't like hate them for doing it. Well, then Verlisify is just a fucking idiot, but that's different. Anyway, getting to game one, I do know Altaria is going to be very nice. Passing the Floatzel might be a little iffy, because if he has T-Spikes, he's got Mach Punch, he's got Leafeon. I don't know that Floatzel pass is going to work too well. And everything else is sort of checked. Like, he has checks to Raichu, checks to Pawniard, but Altaria is really what I want to use to break this man down. So, starting off, I'm just going to lead Floatzel, expecting the Frogadier lead, because I know I can chip it a lot, and I assume he'll just T-Spikes early. But he ends up deciding to simply U-turn out, seeing that T-Spikes only hit 2 Mons, not really a big deal for him to get. Gonna go right into Rotom. So, like, I think it would be pretty ballsy for him to Blizzard there. So we'll go right into Raichu as he tricks with a Scarf. Again, that doesn't make it that much easier to handle, but it's better for my Clefairy to get tricked to Life Orb than a Scarf. I'm going to Focus Blast, just playing it safe. I really don't want to deal with him getting a free Gabite. He ends up going Grumpig, predicting that. Good plan his part. I go Altaria, just the Scout. It's set because I see lefties, and I'm thinking maybe he's Spadef or something, because normally offensive runs Colbur. He crits me, so I'm not really sure about the damage, but then he taunts, and I see, nope, that is an offensive taunt Grumpig that is faster than Alt. That's pretty annoying. It does mean Alt is much less of just like a straight murder mon. And I'm going to go right into Clefairy because I don't have much to take it on, so I want to start Seismic Tossing it down pretty quick, so it'll be in Alt range. He gets up T-Spikes. I'm just going to let him get a Stealth Rock. Like, hey, I can't stop him. That's fine. I do Soft Boiled, and then assuming that he'll save it, knowing that I could just Soft Boiled off, and then he'll have gained nothing, so he might as well just switch out and keep the Death Fodder. I'm going to go for a Seismic Toss. Like, I'm just explaining, that's why I didn't spam Soft Boiled. I figured, you know, he's a decent player, he might switch out. I mean, not that not switching out is a bad play, it's just a very safe play. I am going to go straight for a Seismic Toss, because I really, like, with the Life Orb and the Seismic Toss, Rotom is in range of Rocks now, which means he can't switch it out, and even though it does mean Clefairy might die, I really want that Rotom dead. Rotom is still a very annoying threat. Hits Mawile, gives Pawniard issues. You know, let's just get rid of it. He's actually going to trick away my Violite, which is going to let him do more damage, even though he loses the Life Orb, because I just Soft Boil just in case he misses or something. Blizzard does a lot, but I'm just going to kill him with Seismic Toss. I probably could have Soft Boiled spam, but Clefairy really does just lose to everything else he has. Without a Violite, it's not going to take on Gabite or Monferno or anything too well, so I'm just going to sack up the Flare Blitz. This does let me go right back into Altaria, though, and get off the roost as he U-turns into Gabite. And at this point, Dragon Claw would do a lot, but if he's standard Gabite, either way, even if he's max attack Adamant, as long as he's not banded, which he's fucking not, he's not going to kill me. He's a Violite. Jolly Gabite, which is the regular set that you generally see for rocks, will not put me in range of Monferno with its Dragon Claw. And that is the only reason why I stay into Draco. It is pretty risky because I do need Altaria for both Monferno and Leafeon, but I know if I switch out and he gets rocks and Altaria's chipped and I get nothing for that, that's a pretty bad position to be in. Not to mention, Gabite does beat most of my team at this point, so I'm just going to drop a Draco, get rid of it, as he does Stealth Rock rather than Dragon Clawing, which is going to make the game a bit easier for me. I think I still had good chances even if he did Dragon Claw, but helps me a lot. I'm going to use Mawile's Death Fodder now, because even though it takes on Leafeon, so does Pawniard. And Pawniard takes on Grumpig better than it does, so that's the Death Fodder I chose. Don't judge me. At this point, nothing I have really beats Grumpig. Poniard is 50-50s, and he could just go to Monferno and then just U-turn out anyway. So I figured my best course of action is if I can sack like the rest of my team. When I say the rest of my team, if I can just sack Floatzel, Raichu, and Poniard just to remove Grumpig, it's fine, because Altaria can beat the other two mons. And that's basically what I'm going to do here. I'm basically just going to throw my shit at the Grumpig, see what sticks. First go Float, Waterfall does a decent amount. Flinch would have been much appreciated, but can't rely on that stuff. So that's a good amount of damage. I can go Raichu. It doesn't actually kill, because he tricked away my Life Orb. But it will 2 KO and he can't kill me back. He's actually going to Focus Blast just in case I like Volt Switch into Poniard. I'm not actually running Volt Switch. I am Nasty Claw. But the situation that arises here makes the game a lot more complicated than I had originally imagined. Because instead of Psychicking, which would have made me die at the very least to Poison, that Focus Blast is going to mean Raichu is alive for one more turn and gives Leafeon a free Sword Stance. And now if I go Altaria, he can knock me into range of Monferno, which will clean up, which means I have to go Poniard, which does get 2 KO'd. He's going to Leaf Blade. Crit stops my heart, but in effect it doesn't matter, because I would have been 2 KO'd anyway. And assuming he's not Quick Attack or Synthesis, which are both things, but I'm going to assume that he's running something like Frustration, which I kind of have to do. Like, I can't assume he's Synthesis or something. This is now entirely Sucker Punch 50-50s. If he switches out Leafeon, goes to Monferno, and kills me, Altaria wins anyway. There's no benefit in doing that. So this is just, can he catch me on the Sucker Punch? Can he spam Sword Stance until he catches the Sucker Punch and win? And, you know, sometimes that's Mons. Sometimes it's a very close, intense game that has a really super crazy 1% finish. Sometimes it's a very close, intense game that just devolves into 50-50s. And, let's just skip through this, because it's not interesting. It's not, like, it's suspense, but it's suspense for suspense's sake. I do win the Sucker Punch 50-50. I do catch him Sword Stancing, kill him with the knockoff, and at this point, Altaria is an win. So yay, I won the game. Not maybe how I would have liked to. But a win is a win, even if it has to be through Sucker Punch 50-50s. Drop that Draco and the Monferno on to game 2. Still pretty close. Very close, actually. Definitely the Focus Blast letting him Sword Stance. Either that was an amazing, like, saw through everything play and gave himself the best possible chance to win, or he was just predicting a Volt to Poniard. But either way, well played, sir, well played. Now game 2, he's got just a very weird team. Like, they're all viable Mons, but some of them are a bit less seen, like Electrode, Drifblim, even Gabite. Both games here, but not that common. I'm going to bring this team. I brought round 1. It is from PUPL. I changed up a couple of the sets slightly, and I think it's probably alright. I'm looking at this matchup. Sub-split Life Orb Rotom sort of just bonks him in the face. Like, if I can just sub up on, say, Metang or something, or maybe scaring at the Gabite, really just puts in a crap ton of work. Band Golem, also, like, he has one ground immunity, and then everything else just dies. And analyzing his team is very interesting, because he has a Metang and a Gabite. Which means either two things. One, he's going to be Rest Talk Metang, which is a set that a couple of people have been messing around with, but it's nothing too serious, and because he's not a PU main, I figure it's probably not that. Or two, looking at the rest of his team, Gabite is the only electric immunity. He already has a rocker, which means it's Scarf Gabite. I invented Scarf Gabite, just saying. Don't let anyone tell you I didn't. Don't let Dundies claim that. It's just a stupid PU meme, don't worry about it. Anyway, I'm just going to lead Golem, because I figured he might lead Metang or Electrode. Just want to pressure that. As this is going to toss out Gabite in turn 1. I have 2 ground immunities that are pretty good switches to Gabite. And only an idiot would just leave in Golem, am I right? But because I know he's Scarf, I'm reasonably certain he's going to lock himself into not Earthquake, and I'll just Earthquake and kill him, because hey, ban Golem, am I right? Ban Golem, that's just a strong Mon. He goes Cacturne. I figure Special's the most common set, so I'll go Clefairy, and if I'm wrong, I mean, Clefairy wasn't the most useful, because then it lost to Metang. Drifblim can weaken it, because I'm not T-Wave. Electrode might be taunt. So yeah, I'm fine with losing Clefairy if I'm wrong there. Now I can go Jumpluff, which by the way I didn't want to risk because Dark Pulse does a lot. I'm just going to Acro first because then I can Sleep Powder next turn. Unfortunately I miss. That lets him get his rocks, which, like, they weaken Rotom, but otherwise it could be worse. However, I do make just the ballsiest play I possibly can, predicting that he'll want to Sleep Fodder something other than Metang, because Metang is still very useful. I am going to Acro on the switch out to something, and then I'm going to stay in, expecting him to not HP Ice. Excuse me, little bit of an interruption. Anyway, I stay in on the Volt Switch, because one, I don't think he'll HP Ice. I have a Grumpig, I have a Rotom, and he's in the hole. He's got to make some kind of plays. So if I do switch out, and then he gets the correct Volt Switch, and Jumpluff, then Jumpluff is weakened, my switching is weakened, it just goes a lot better for him. So I'm going to stay in Sleep Powder, because, like, I'm in his head, I want to press the advantage. Definitely feeling that Smash stuff, huh? I'm watching way too much Smash. I don't even play that much, I'm just watching it. I'm going to go right to Rotom because it is just the quickest thing at killing this, other than Golem. If I banned Golem, if I lock banned Golem into Earthquake, then maybe Drifloon could pull off some comeback set. But I do 2K him, not going to get like a weird roll or anything. And now Electrode comes in. He's just going to T-Bolt, but I realize, hey, it's just a free paint split. Electrode doesn't really beat this one-on-one. And he's put in a range that after one more Life Orb hit from the T-Bolt, I don't even have to risk a Blizzard, so Rotom's just a pretty cool mon, huh? Rotom is just such a cool mon. Anyway, he's going to go Cacturne, but I figure if I lose the Sucker Punch 50-50, at the very least I'm going to make this thing weak. Because Cacturne is dangerous. Like, with suckering Jumpluff and everything, it could be pretty scary. So I am going to Pain Split. I prefer at least some guaranteed damage, and then I sub on the Sucker Punch. Catch him just spamming Sucker, and that's going to be the game, because Rotom is faster than Drifloon, and Drifloon has some decent bulk, but not enough to take a Life Orb Thunderbolt, so. The only game in all of these, how many games? This is like 7 in a row now for the first 3 rounds of this tournament. This is the only game that didn't come out too close, but Aqua Jet Breloom still got to round 3, good player, props to him. Hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, this is the last of my guaranteed content. Now I'll actually have to do other things, huh? Well, I'll see you around. Hopefully it won't take too long to get this channel back on track. Goodbye.